welcome back. Part 2 of our in-depth walkthrough of Ocarina of Time with lyrics. And what happens next in the song? Why, this! Yeah, now we're doing the Hyrule Field music, which is the very heart and soul of the soundtrack of Ocarina of Time. At which point, I show up before you say something, and I start singing this, and it's a sort of a triumphant sounding tune, but it's me arguing with him because of my love of Ocarina of Time. We felt that when it came to the defense of the game, it needed to be a piece of music that was recognized as being synonymous with the game, like the heart of the game, and so of course it had to be Hyrule Field. Because in the game, this is the moment where we go from sort of pottering about in a general Zelda way to exploring the world. Listen to the build-up. And then we are away. In this particular playthrough, the person has decided to hop his way across the field. I think he's trying to speedrun it. A bit annoying, isn't it? Let me turn that off. Much better. Hear the heroic build-up. Hear how exciting it sounds like it's about to be. And then suddenly we break through into the main tune. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And that's all well and good, except what immediately happens is we get this little bit. And then we get this bit. Which sounds like it's a progression to the next bit, which goes almost nothing. Okay, but we're obviously building up to the main melody here that we'll write the lyrics to. It doesn't really have a lot of substance, that bit, but this will be the bit. Yeah, there we go, Zelda. Da 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 da. Perfect, let's write the lyrics to that. Okay. Da 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 da. Oh, it doesn't loop, that's okay, we can work around that. What's this? See, here's the problem with the Hyrule Field music, when what you want to do is write lyrics to it. It's not a melody, it's a sort of a tone piece. It's about feeling heroic without, you know, being like a hummable tune that you can sing along with. See, they were embracing the new technology at the time. Back when they made the iconic Zelda themes, the themes for like the whole series, well, they were working on systems where they had to have tunes that were very, very short and would loop over and over again. And they had to be catchy, it had to not be annoying when they did loop over and over again. So it had to be something that you wanted to join in with, to sing along with. And that's why we write words to old game tunes and go, great, here you go internet, let's sing along with this. But the thing is, when they were writing this piece of music, they had a broader canvas on which to work. They had more RAM now, and presumably they'd improved the music software, and so they could have longer tunes. They could go on forever. They didn't have to be melodies at all. And what's so clever about the Hyrule Field music is that it basically represents the game, and the Hyrule Field section of the game in particular, in that it gives you this sprawling great landscape full of little bits and bobs. It kind of gives the illusion that there's more stuffed in there than there really is. So when we were coming to write the lyrics for it, we thought, well, how should we do this? And so the decision was reached not to really worry too much about keeping it exactly the way it is in the game, and instead to sort of play with it, keep the spirit of it, make it recognizable, but if we need to, we can change the order a little bit. So what I did is I chopped it up into separate sections, and here's my folder full of sections. I've got 13 of them, it would appear. So selecting one at random, here's section 9. Interesting, we didn't use this one at all. Here's section 3. We did use this one. After 12 hours, that opinion is conjecture. I've labelled some of them. Look, number 5 here is called Useful One. Let's see why it sounded useful and what I used it for. Ah, yes, this is the first bit of my whole section.
The plane we long for again to expand that old land
that we loved. And then it just stops, because in the game that only plays once. In the song we looped it again so that I had a chance to put some lyrics in, basically. This one's called Danger Section. Oh, I know what this is. This is where it goes all dangerous. Here we go. And the last one's called Serene Bit. Yes, that is serene. Now, we didn't use this bit, but it leads into another slightly serene bit, which we did use, but not serene. We made it upbeat like the rest, and it's this bit. Why don't you feel the love that this game inspires in thousands of lives round the world? So the interesting thing is, we seem not to have actually used any of the ones that I gave a special label to, apart from number 5, Useful One. So I wonder which ones we did use. Let me try number 2. Yes! That that's my intro. That's when I appear on the screen. How about number 3? Yes. Look, Dave, this is my opinion. After 12 hours. So that was what we did. We found the sections of the song that worked for writing lyrics to, and we sort of slightly rearranged them, not much, but a little bit, and tried to build more of a song out of it. Now, I remember when I was listening to this section, I was thinking, is this something we're going to be able to do? Can I make this sound good in a cappella? Because listen, if we go over it again, you've got the melody playing in the left speaker, and then you've got bum, 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 bum. That's almost it. The only other thing you've got is a kind of droning sound in the right speaker. Listen. Can you hear it? That's a bit of a chord, but it sounds kind of depressing. And then you've got... So I was thinking to myself, how can I make this sound good? Is it just going to sound depressing in the final version? Let's see what I did. I went with this. Right, listen. Do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-dum. It's a very happy kind of, well, it's a parody of like happy music. If we isolate it, look, it's 3 tracks and they go like this. Do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-dum, do-dum, do-do-do-dum, do-dum. So you can see that's how I've obviously put that in to try and make it sound happier. And what have I got other than that? These look like an R chord. And then what's this? Oh, that's interesting. Listen. And that's kind of hidden in there. So what I've got is I've got this dum and I've got the do-do-dan, do-dan, do-boo. And that gives you sort of 2 bouncy rhythms to listen to as you hear the rest of it. And there you go, that's really all you're hearing in this bit of the song. So actually it's quite simple in my version as well, but it's just a bit different to give it a bouncier, more happy kind of a feel. Here it is all together. So you've got the quiet expand that old land that we love. Secrets and treasure we can find in the corners and caves that we couldn't see back when we squinted down from above. I'm quite pleased with that. That does make it sound happier. Okay, what comes next? Next we've got section 6, which in the original game goes like this. Now that's mostly melody. You've got bum ba dum ba da, but then in the background you have this kind of brass sound. Ba ba dum ba ba dum ba ba dum. And I made it much more sort of noisy. Bit of a swell there. But then we calm it right down and we have a much more sort of staid version of the same tune, which then builds up again. Can't remember why I did that. I must have thought that it just sort of helped with the general tone of the thing. Then we have section 4, which I wasn't sure what to do with at first, because it goes like this. Now you've got 2 things going on there. In the left speaker, you've got a kind of a violin-y sound. That's just going downwards. In the right-hand speaker, you've got another stringsy sound, which is making a more an up-and-downy sort of a journey. And I didn't want the whole thing to sound the same, so I wanted to kind of change the feel of this section of the music, so I made it a lot more bum bum bum, a lot more bouncy, a lot more staccato. Listen. And that's made up of all sorts of bits. So if we isolate this bit, we've got these 2 tracks here appear to be the only 2 that deal with the stringsy bits that I was just telling you about. They go like this. But they're backed up by these 2 tracks that I made up myself that go. And they just kind of bolster the first 2 tracks like this. And behind all that, you've got this going on. Here's that bit in the actual video. Round wild and free. Okay, so here on the wide shot of the field and the sea, that's where you get your ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba to kind of emphasise the heroiciness of it. And now we move on on to the ba-ba-ba bit.
Play through the night, you'll see the light. It's wonderful, so beautiful.
Why all the doop-doop-de-doo, you wonder? Well, it's because I needed a background for this bit. That bit feels very doop-doop-doop-doo to me. And in the video, we needed to change the tone from a happy bit where I'm saying, this game is wonderful, this bit,
It's wonderful, so
to Brent saying this.
It blew your little socks off. I get that, but you might see my viewpoint if I could read wider.
So we needed something that sounded almost sarcastic, a little bit slightly funny, really. So I threw in this. Gosh, are there really only 4 tracks of that? There's only 4 tracks of that. Gosh. Suddenly we got 2.
Here's what I'm getting at. The crappy textures make it all look so gross and flat.
The shop theme! The shop theme, remember that? Of course you do, but I bet you never noticed the detail I found when I was studying it to make this song. But we've hit the, 10-minute mark, and now we've finished the Hyrule Field bit, so let's call it a video and reconvene in part 3! Oh, and I've just realised I got so into analysing the original music and the difficulties that it posed when making a big a cappella medley of it that I forgot entirely to talk about how we made up the lyrics, and I've got a couple of quite funny demos to play you regarding that, so maybe that'll be next time. We shall see in this, our increasingly ongoing series. Bye! See you in part 3! If you've been affected by any of the a cappella you've heard during this video and want to buy the without lyrics MP3, the link's in the description.